What's up, guys? This is Chris here from Honest Outlaw, and today we've got another pretty interesting top 5 for you. Today I'm going to talk about a few guns that you might not have heard of. I get to shoot a lot of really cool guns on the channel, and because of that I get to find a lot of hidden gems that normal people otherwise wouldn't find. I'm always on the hunt for the next best thing. I'm looking for the best carry gun, the best home defense gun, the best competition gun, the best shotgun, whatever it may be. And along the way, not only do I usually find those things, but I often find a lot of guns that were very good that I've never heard of. So I wanted to do another list like that for you guys, where I talk about just some of the peak performance items that I've found in varying price tiers with varying different actions and calibers and things like that. That way I can hopefully give you guys something on this list for everybody. The first thing I wanted to start with was actually a gun that's been out for quite a while, but still most people don't seem to know, even though it's made by a very reputable brand, and that's going to be the PX4 Storm. But before we do get into the full top 5, I do want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. It's because of you guys I have most of the guns on the channel. You guys help support almost all the ammunition on the channel, so I really appreciate that. If you like the channel, you want to support it, that's the best way to do it. Just go to the link in the description below. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter in Ames, Iowa. It's the YSS. It's a youth shelter. I'd really appreciate if you go down to the description, click that link, donate a couple bucks to those kids. Now, the PX4 Storm, specifically the compact, I really like. And that's because the compact has kind of made a splash, whereas the full size really has not. The compact PX4 Storm is a double single action pistol, which makes it relatively unpopular for most beginners or new shooters. The reason for that is because you have to master 2 trigger pulls. Starting off, we have the double action trigger, and then once the gun is ran and the action is cycled, you have a very crisp single action trigger pull for the remainder of your shots. It holds 15 rounds plus 1, and it is a little bit smaller than your average Glock 19. Now, where it separates itself from the Glock 19, the M&P compact, the PDP, the PPQ, all that stuff, is not only the fact that it's double action similar to the CZP-07, which makes it a lot safer to actually carry appendix because you have that long double action pull protecting your junk, and your junk is important, so protect it. Well, maybe it's not, but mine is. Not only do you have that double single action capability where you get that long safe trigger pull, but you can also switch it to single action if you choose for that short, very light trigger pull, which is going to be better than your average Glock 19, but it also runs on a rotating barrel design. So if you see the actual action itself there, if I pull the slide to the rear slow enough, you can actually see it spin. Now what that does, instead of the Browning action, the tilting barrel design, that actually reduces recoil a good bit. And you wouldn't believe it until you actually shot one of these. It's actually the similar system as several other guns that also have very low recoil. This entire system itself is known for having very low recoil and also being very reliable. These guns can easily go 1,000 rounds with no malfunctions. I actually have the full-size 1,000 round review on the channel, and I know many people who have these. Now, the reason why these are coming back in vogue is because of a guy named Langdon. Ernest Langdon, owner of Langdon Tactical, has actually been pimping these out for the last few years and putting a lot of features on them that are wow. I mean, that's the only word I want to say. He can do up these triggers to be so good they feel like custom CZ triggers, and the reset and the action is so light that accuracy is not a problem. Add that to adding the RMR or SRO system on there with the co-witness iron sights, and then some extra texture, a better mag well, and all the stuff that this gun should have came with in the first place. You essentially have a little pocket race gun and one of the fastest and most accurate carry guns that you could possibly get. The PX4 Storm is really good on its own, don't get me wrong, very low recoil, good trigger, awesome double action system, comes from a reputable brand, smaller and lighter than your average compact pistols, but if you add the Ernest Langdon stuff on top of it, you will have a truly exceptional pistol. In at number 4 here, we have the Triple Bubba Special. This is the Chiappa Triple Threat. Now this particular one is in 20 gauge with the 18-inch barrel. It also has the capability of being a lot shorter stock if you so choose, and it actually fires all 3 barrels with a single trigger pull. Now that's really important. Not all 3 at the same time, but a lot of guns that A lot of guns, especially double-barreled shotguns, have 2 different triggers for 2 different barrels, and that can actually be a little confusing. In an emergency, you might pull one trigger twice and then not figure it out till it's too late, or you might shoot the wrong barrel, depending on which one you have loaded with which. The Chiappa triple actually eliminates all those problems, and on top of that puts this system in a very reliable, very robust, very ergonomic system. Not only does the stock fit really well, but the gun itself actually shoots and operates very well. It opens really easy, ejects the shells upon opening, and it has a tang mounted safety there similar to a Mossberg 500, which I really like. Now, why would you want one of these other than just looking like fucking Mad Max from the Road Warrior, as you can see right there? But what you would want this for is if, let's say, you were in a band state and you couldn't get a pump shotgun or you couldn't get a semi-automatic shotgun and you're looking for something with more rounds. Or you want something with at least 3 rounds, because honestly, I don't know if you've ever looked at shotgun engagement statistics as far as home defense, but most people don't need more than 3 shotgun rounds. That being said, if you're looking for something very, very simple, a simple open breech, take shells out, put shells in, lock and load, ready to go, this system is great for you. Now, am I saying that this is better than a semi-automatic or a pump-fed shotgun? I'm absolutely not, but I am saying that for new shooters, a lot less can go wrong with this system. It's a very reliable, robust system, and on top of that, it is 50 states legal, which is very, very nice. 3 rounds of 20 or 12 gauge can do almost everything you need it to in North America, and you get it for this slick, badass looking package. So I really do like this gun. Not a lot of people talk about it, but it's beautiful, it's durable, it's useful, and it's fucking sweet. In at number 3, we have the weirdest gun on the list, and that's saying something considering the last gun. This is the KelTec P50. Now, the KelTec P50 is, you guessed it, Han's gun, and no, it's not. It is not a blaster, but it's pretty damn close. This is actually a 5.7 by 28 caliber pistol caliber carbine. Well, pistol caliber pistol technically. But we do have an arm brace on here, which is available aftermarket. Those don't come with it, but they damn well should. This gun carries 50 rounds of the 5.7 round, which is actually the same round made famous by not only the FN57, but the PS90 and the P90. The P90, well, FN, who created the P90, created the 5.7 by 28 for a contract in the early 90s, dealing with Russian paratroopers, believe it or not. That being said, they were looking for a PDW that had a lot of rounds that could theoretically penetrate body armor. And when you're looking to do that, you generally go with a lower diameter round with higher velocity. And that's what the 5.7 is. Think of, how do I want to say this? A little bit hotter than a 22 mag. So KelTec took that specific round and that actual magazine, believe it or not, and they put it in a much cheaper package, or at least for sure a cheaper package. Somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500 you can actually pick these guys up. And what you'll get out of the deal is not only a pretty cool looking gun with modern features mixed with a little bit of 80s nostalgia, as far as I can see, with the actual handguard there, but you also get a threaded barrel and you get 50 rounds of 5.7 on target. Now, it's not the most efficient caliber in the world, but the fact that you can carry 50 of them on the gun at once is really saying something. This can put down quite the swarm of bees, and on top of that, it looks very cool. It's very reliable. We shot this gun almost 1,000 times now. We could probably have a 1,000 round review at some point in the next 5 years when I can afford 5.7, but it's very reliable, it's very accurate, it's very cool looking, it's super lightweight at around 3 pounds, and it's actually really good for people who are recoil sensitive, considering it's a capable caliber similar to 9mm, but it has absolutely zero recoil, making the shooting experience that much more fun. Hard to believe that I put a gun on this list from KelTec, but when they make something good, they make something good. Now, in at number 2 here, I want to put on a gun that I actually don't have, but I really like during testing. Now, one thing you have to remember is just because I don't own it anymore doesn't mean I didn't like it. I have to sell guns to buy other guns for review. But I want to put the Steyr M9A2 MF. Now, that gun came out last year from Steyr. Steyr, the same company that makes the Steyr AUG, and that gun has one of the lowest bore axis of any handgun I've ever shot. It is a polymer frame 9mm striker fired pistol with a couple of unique features, including a very low recoil impulse and some very interesting triangular sights that actually do work very well if you actually get to know them and use them. The gun is almost completely unknown in the US. I've seen very few people that have ever had one, but it's absolutely excellent. Coming in at the same size and weight profile of a Glock 19, around a 4-inch barrel with a 28-ounce overall weight and around 15 to 17 round magazine capacity depending on which one you get. It's very comparable with modern polymer guns that you can find in the United States. However, it does have, again, some features that set it apart. Number one, it does have those triangular sights that I think a lot of people don't really like, but if you actually get to know them and use them, they're very, very specific and very accurate, and I was capable of hitting targets out to 100 yards with them, no problem. A good portion of that is because of the pretty excellent trigger that actually comes in the gun. They improved the trigger from the Gen 1, and they also added a lot of texture on it as well, decreasing that recoil impulse even more. The thing I like the most about it though is the extreme low bore axis and the high perch that you can actually get on the gun. It's so high, in fact, that it forces you to change your grip a little bit, but once you get to know the pistol, it's super fast and accurate, and it's quite the oddball that you can show off to your friends. Now, there isn't going to be any honorable mentions for this video, even though I could have a bunch, because you guys actually requested that I make several of these. So I've talked to a few people in the comment section, so I got the idea for the video. And not only are we going to have this video, but I'm actually going to have more of these coming out after this. So if you're interested in that, just subscribe and let me know what you think. That being said, let's get to number one now with a gun that absolutely blew me away this year, and is my current front runner for my competition pistol for 2022, and that is going to be the Phoenix Redback Ultralight. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Phoenix Redback Ultralight, then you are pretty much in tune with the rest of the world. I wasn't even aware that these things existed up until last year, and this is kind of my job. That being said, now that I am familiar, I am really, really taken aback by this particular gun. It is a CZ75-ish style gun made by Phoenix, which actually used to be Chris, the company that made the Sphinx, the Vector, and several other awesome guns. It's essentially a CZ75 copy made by a Swiss company. Now, the Phoenix Redback is set apart even more by some of the features and the quality and fit and finish that's put on the gun. So as you can see right here, it is a double single action pistol. Now, you can get these in just single action only. You can also get them in an aluminum frame, a steel frame, or even a polymer frame. So you can choose what weight tier you actually want your gun, anywhere from 28 ounces all the way up to 52. So if you want a little less, a little more recoil, that's entirely up to you. What I like most about it is not only the trigger, which we'll get to here in a minute, and the overall accuracy, which is absolutely baffling, but I like the real attention to detail that they've put on this gun. From the extreme beaver tail there, so you can get really high on the gun, to the awesome checkering, to the awesome undercut that you won't see on a standard CZ. You also get the checkering on the frame on either side that you can put your thumb, and you can actually add a little bit of pressure on for a little bit extra recoil control. Since the gun is so low profile, the slide is low profile on the CZ pattern guns, once you put an optic on the back of it, there's almost no real estate whatsoever to actually grab and operate the slide. So Phoenix has really serrated the top of this slide here, so you can do the front press check method very, very well. We also have some awesome iron sights, a really low profile red dot mount, and the fact that it has ambi safeties, and it also has some of the best accuracy I've ever seen on a firearm. I am as accurate with this gun as I am with any other gun that I've ever shot, and that includes some of the Atlas Gunworks guns, which is really impressive. Now, don't get me wrong, this gun's very expensive, coming in over $3,000, but if you want to be able to hit a 6-inch plate at 100 yards, sometimes you gotta pay for it. And I say that because I've been able to actually achieve that with this gun. I've been able to hit some of the plates off of my Texas Star at 75 and 100 yards, and I've been able to hit some of the plates on my plate rack at 100 yards. Not consistently, but pretty close. And at 75, I can actually run the plate rack. So that makes this technically the most accurate handgun that I own. I pulled the last one, so I saw that. I went 1 and 2. right on top of each other at 10 yards.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that's gonna be the best group ever, and fuck. Now I think part of that is because I shot CZ Shadow 2s for years. I have the original Accu Shadow and the original CZ75 from CZ Custom, and I've been just shooting this style of gun for so long that it works very well for me. Now the only thing that really compares to this is gonna be the Atlas Gunworks guns or any high-end 2011 like EDC X9 or an Xperior, but this gun in particular has something those guns don't. And that is, this is legal in carry optics, which isn't even fair. I mean, I get to shoot this gun up against people that are shooting like stock Glocks and stuff like that, if I so choose. Now, I haven't been mean enough to do that yet, but you certainly could. And that is why I've literally dubbed this gun the cheat code, because it just seems way too good to be in a category like that. That being said, the gun is very expensive, so it will probably remain relatively obscure. Overall, even though it's very expensive, the reliability, accuracy, ergonomics, and style points really back it up in my personal opinion. And if you're looking for a super gun, this is a really good way to go. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Like I said, we'll have plenty more of these here on the channel in the next few months. So if you're interested, let me know. Please help out your local homeless shelters and remember to recycle. I'll check you later. The 60 gauge shotgun.
Just think if it did shoot all three at once, you'd be really sad about that if you were on the other end.
Yeah, whoever you hit with 3 consecutive 12 gauge buckshot rounds
would not be.
I don't think he'd be around enough to think about how bad his day just went.